hello. I believe we are live. Welcome,
Yeah,
everybody. Hello, hello. Go
let
ahead.
me just.
Yeah,
No, go on, go on, go on.
okay. That's right. We need to do the Instagram thing. But
Yeah, that's right.
in the meantime, welcome. Okay, here we go. I think we're live on the Creative Spirals Instagram.
We are live on my Facebook, and we should now be live on my Instagram as well. So great. And
Fantastic.
YouTube? How are we doing for YouTube?
Yep. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We've got all of the ones covered,
We
except for
have all the
TikTok.
things. Great.
Fantastic. Welcome to another week of Accountability Buddies in action. If you are joining us, please leave a comment, whatever platform you're watching, and we'll say hi, give you a little shout out. This is our first week back from a week of both of us feeling not super great. And we decided to give ourselves a bit of grace and pick it back up when we can. So we're picking it back up because we can.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you
And
doing, Raphy?
I'm good. I mean, there was nothing super major going on over here. I just had like a really kind of stinky cold that rendered me unable to speak or breathe very easily. And I thought nobody wants to see that mess live on stream. So, so I thought it best that we postponed, and it kind of just worked out timing wise for you as well, right? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I was having some medical issues, not something, contagious or something that I caught, but I was having some urgent medical stuff, and thankfully it's not serious, but I just need to take it a little easy,
Yeah.
so it was good to take last week off and show ourselves some mercy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm kind of glad it happened in a way because it's a really good, just a good bit of material to talk about, how we manage our energy and adjust goals to account for the things that happen unexpectedly.
Yeah.
In this case, it was about health and well-being, but it could have easily been anything like, touch wood, a hurricane,
Right.
or like, and there are just these things in life that happens, and they don't need to derail your goals in the long term, but you do have to be responsive to all the things that are happening in your life because your creative goals are not existing in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a really good opportunity to talk about that today. But for those people who are watching this and are watching this on replay who might not know who we are, I think we owe the newbies a little bit of an introduction to
Yes.
who we are and what we do. So why don't you go for it?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm Suzanne Yeda. I am a accountability coach for creative weirdos, a business coach for creative weirdos, and a creative weirdo. And I am running the little spirals, sorry, the creative spirals group. So my business coaching is Yeda Creative. My artist name, my singer songwriter name is Little Spiral, and I just mixed them both up and created the creative spirals for my accountability part. So the creative spirals is what we're here to kind of talk about because that's where I really emphasize putting your creative projects on the front burner, not the back burner. And we do things like workshop, time management tips and tactics, plus accountability pairing, and a lot more cool stuff along the way, including a New Year's retreat that's coming up. So
That's very exciting.
I'm very excited about that. It's a 2 day, 2 full days, a full weekend in Hollywood, California. If you can make it in person, uh, in the creative capital of the world, if I'm biased, and and also online and virtually. So it's going to be a hybrid retreat. I'm really excited about it.
Very cool. Yeah, we
That's
haven't talked about your retreat in a long time, but yeah, that's super exciting. California is a really long way away from me. So
is.
I live in Stroud, which is a tiny little town north of Bristol in the southwest of England. And so, another great thing about this series and this partnership with Suzanne is we get to cover Pacific time zone as well as UK time zone, and hopefully we're serving quite a lot of our audience. And as it is as well, I'm more of a nighttime evening person, and Suzanne's more of a morning kind of a person.
Mhm.
So, very complementary energies, and yeah, so my name is Raphy. For those of you who don't know me, Raphy Mendoza, and I am the founder of Co-Create, where I offer one-to-one coaching and a community membership for artists and creatives who want to start stepping into the identity of their creative self and stop apologizing for who they are as artists and share their work out in the world in a much more bold, more confident way, and ultimately turn their vision into reality and be seen and loved for their art. And so that's what I do. I offer one-to-one coaching. I'm currently working on a signature group offer that I'm hoping to launch in 2025, and imminently next week, exactly a week from today, on the 30th of October, I'm opening the doors for the founding members of my membership.
Yes.
So in that membership, you'll find monthly group coaching sessions with me. You'll find a community hub where you can connect and collaborate with other creatives, whether you're a musician, an artist, a painter, a ventriloquist, a puppet maker, a singer, a poet, a writer. Every creative is welcome, and there'll be sessions in there which are not quite accountability buddy sessions, but group accountability, where you get to show up and dedicate some time specifically for your art, and make sure it's in the front burner, like Suzanne said, and be accountable by showing up to a co-working session with other people who are also working on their own creative projects. So if you're interested in that, I will put a link in the comments at some point when we post the replay.
Awesome.
Um, so that's who we are, and I thought, shall we do a little recap of week one, two, and three, especially since we've had a break?
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. And I'm looking at our notes, our handy dandy document. We have both picked one project that we're going to be supporting each other with. Rafi has a show coming up next year with, I think we calculated 1,500 paintings is your goal. No,
I'll update you.
well, update. Okay. Well, small paintings for the show that will coat the wall of the gallery. So we're really excited about that, and we'll we'll be updating as we go with this. And then I have committed to releasing a Thanksgiving banger, a Thanksgiving song to Spotify and the streaming platforms in time for American Thanksgiving, which is November 29th, which also means kind of the next couple of weeks I need to submit all of my things to give people some time to put it on their Thanksgiving playlists. So that's what we're doing. The first week, we were just getting that established. The second week, we're doing some more breaking things down into tasks. And the third week, we started to get into the regular habit of like, what's the three things, the three tasks that you can do this week towards this project. And then we both fell poorly. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's how that happens.
That's a good summary. And I think just for people who are wanting to catch up on the replay, I really do recommend definitely rewatching the first episode, because we spent a lot of time distinguishing what an accountability buddy is. Because although the title makes it sound obvious, there's actually quite a lot of structures in place that you need to put to make sure that that relationship is not only effective, but it is preserved, so that you're not and that you're managing your expectations in a really clean and professional way. And we also made some distinctions about who would be a good accountability buddy for you, and different techniques that you can use during play to make the most out of that relationship. So if you are new, definitely recommend going through the replays. And in order to do that, I think all you have to do is sign up to our Eventbrite link. Does Susanna have that somewhere on a QR code?
I do, and for some reason I am getting the beach ball of death. I'm trying to. There we are. There we are. So if I magically disappear, apologies, my computer is
Sure.
struggling.
Yeah.
But
So
let's put that QR code right there. That's where you
right.
can get the signups for all of our all
Yeah.
of our future live streams.
All
Yeah,
of our future live streams, and yeah, and you'll get a
and
link
the
to all the
replays.
replays as well. So definitely catch up on those. So okay, so let's shall we have just like a little kind of touch in on um how we how we managed our tasks? Because suppose if we go through what we said we were gonna do, and then talk through how we actually managed those objectives, given that we were both unwell
Yeah.
during the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, well, first off, just um, a broad overview as I was, going to doctor's appointments and shuttling around and things. Um, I am a big believer that productivity is not the most important thing in your life. It is
Mm,
one thing that helps you get some of the things done, but doing things is not your entire life. Like, there
mhm,
is more to your life than just, cracking the whip and being a robot that just processes a big fat to-do list. But
mm,
having said that, without that, I still want to bring my music to the world, and I still have, this project that I care about, that I've gotten the accountability partnership for and the structures for, and that has helped a lot. So when life happens, um, giving myself some grace. And because I had the support built in, because I knew we were going to go live, and also because I had booked musicians on my calendar to contribute to the song, that was much easier for me to continue to do what I can and the little bits that I can, while giving myself the rest that I needed in the space that I needed. And
mm,
that's huge for me. Is I think I mentioned it in a previous live stream, but externalizing deadlines and creating partnerships and collaborations is even more important for things that we deeply care about. Not just that I should be doing this, but like I want to do this, to
mm,
get folks involved and on the calendar. For me, that's like the key. To still have progress and to still show up. And if I did need to rebook the musicians, like, I can, but I still would have a commitment to say, I can't make it this week. Can we rebook to another time? And still have that touch point with my project. So, yeah, yeah. For me, it was I very much need and value uh, people in my life on those projects that I know will get on the back burner, will be the first to be jettisoned off of my calendar when life happens. Um, and that's kind of why the communities that the one that Raphy is going to be launching, and the community that's building in the creative spirals are so important. Yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely agree, and I had a similar experience, like, I mean, actually, both in terms of my creative project, but also in terms of work, because obviously, co-create membership's going to be launching next week, and I'd essentially lost a week of productive time. And yet I had put that deadline out there, and I had promised people that this was going to launch and this was going to happen, and that really kind of um reinforced that kind of that good is better than perfect. What is it? Done is better than perfect.
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
and it just gave me a certain kind of focus and a certain kind of accountability, because I knew that people were on a wait list waiting for those doors to open. And and actually what I found was there were a lot of things that I had jammed into my to-do list that really had no real business being there. Like that stuff, some of that stuff could have waited like a month from now or later on. And so it really forced me to kind of like pare back on my expectations on myself, which is really useful, because that kind of like perfectionism and wanting to do everything to a ridiculously high standard for no real kind of benefit to anybody is one of those like kind of self-sabotage moves that we can all kind of fall into. So that was a really important thing to recognize. And a bit like what you were saying, Suzanne, like, I could have easily, if I didn't have that 30th of October deadline for the membership, and if we didn't have these live series in the calendar and publicized, I probably wouldn't have done what I did manage to do for my creative project, for my exhibition either. And we'll go through the specifics of that in a minute. But even today, like, I'm feeling a lot better, but because all of my attention has kind of been focused on launching the membership, I could have easily not gone to the gallery to take the measurements for the walls that I needed to do. And I said that I was going to do in our last call, but because I knew that this call was happening tonight, I just went and did it. And actually, it took half an hour. I met somebody, an artist who was running an exhibition at the time, and essentially made a friend. And
Yay.
so it's kind of like these things. And so I suppose what I'm really saying is like there's the plan, and then there's giving yourself grace, and then there's allowing for things that to happen, and it's kind of like trusting that somewhere, somehow, you're gonna do what you need to do. And that's
Mm-hmm.
a trust both in yourself and your ability to show up, but also in the structures that you've put in place for yourself to
Mm-hmm.
succeed. And just life, that life will bring you what you need. And so yeah, that's kind of just like a few learnings that I'd had over the last week, and we can kind of dive into it a little bit more as we go through the specifics of our tasks that we may or may not have done over the last
Yes.
week. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so shall we dive into it?
Yeah, let's do
All
it.
right, let's do it. And while, it's interesting. I sent out an email, and then my email provider just gave me a warning about something, so I had to I was distracted for a hot second. But here we go. Um, let's share our Google Doc that I've got set up. And today's the 23rd of October. So,
Sorry, can we do the setup where we see the thingy and the two of
oh,
us?
yes, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
it?
that's better. It makes
There
it
we go.
bigger as well, funnily enough. So that's good. That's great.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. So,
It looks like I'm going fast. Okay, let's do it.
all
Okay.
right. All right, let's do it. So, here, let me maybe if that works a little better. Yeah. Okay. So, I've got your previous three commitments. Um, measuring the dimensions of the gallery, 30 or 40 pieces, increase 20 minutes to 30 or 45. So, how did you do, and how did you adjust with
Yeah, yeah,
with this
yeah.
week.
So so we gave ourselves basically 2 weeks instead of a week, which was helpful because that little bit of extra time was needed because for most of half of that I was not very functional. And so I did go out this morning to measure the gallery and get a tape, and I uh, secured the tape measure late last night
Good.
somehow because I was like, look, we're going live tomorrow. I just need to get this done. It's not a big deal. Just go and do it." And it wasn't a big deal. But this is something that could have easily gone on into next year and into the spring because
Yeah.
the exhibition's not until August. And that whole time, I would have been essentially working blindly because I wouldn't have known how
Mm.
many pieces I actually needed to fulfill the visual image that I had in my head of how the exhibition was going to look, which would have generated a certain amount of anxiety, which would have created a certain amount of uncertainty and general kind of like emotional turmoil and drama that would have been completely unnecessary. So it's a small act, but with big consequences. And so I did measure, and the gallery, I mean, it's a small space, but there are like several walls. It's not just like a four wall thing. It's got like kind of like these angular things, and it's a really beautiful space actually. So there are in total 7 walls, and I measured all of them height and width. And based on my measurements and based on the walls being covered like every inch with a gap of 10 millimeters between each painting, I would have needed to create 1,830 paintings. And at the moment, at last count, when I did an audit, I had like, was it 160 or 130?
Yeah, something like
Um, Something like that. And so, okay, so this is a lot. And when I did my calculations last week, when I did my project plan, I thought I was going to need 1,500. And so from that, I calculated that I was going to need to make 30 paintings a week. So it's still like and at the beginning, I asked you to ask me, am I being delusional? And this might be one of those moments where I'm like, it's still possible. And I think what I'd like to do, and you can question me, but and
okay.
challenge me, but I think what I'd like to do is aim for having those 1,800 odd paintings, because actually even if I don't meet that goal, what I can do is I can just reframe the whole thing so that there's like a gap at the top, bottom, left and right, so there's still the same gaps between each painting, but you're just kind of like bringing everything closer, so it still looks intentional. It just wouldn't be like every inch covered. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm gonna aim for 1,830 paintings. If I hit 1,500, I mean, if I hit 1,830, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna make myself a medal. I'm gonna order myself one of those things and give it to myself.
Uh,
And if I hit 1,500, I'll be happy. If I hit 1,000, I'll still have an exhibition.
I love that.
So um so I think I'm good with this. Like it is like it's bold and it's pretty insane and completely unreasonable, but why not? Because there's a big range there of what could be possible.
Uh,
And I also want people to be able to buy the pieces and take it home that day rather than doing the red dot thing because they're quite small pieces. And so one way or another, I'm gonna have to do that closing in framing anyway as the pieces go, hopefully, because that's the idea is to sell
mhm.
them all. So what do you think?
I think that is delusional. Uh, and like here's the thing, because we're also quite far out. We're talking August.
Yeah,
It's very easy to uh, perhaps overestimate. Well, my question is then, bringing it back to you, are
Mm.
you the kind of person who, when a new, fresh project is like around, as you're working on it, you get very excited for the first 3 months and then run out of steam?
Not so much actually. I'm a pretty good finisher, but also the thing about it's a really great question because if I was making large paintings, obviously I'll need fewer paintings, but I'm actually more likely to give up because I'm just working on like one thing.
Right.
Whereas like creating 30 paintings a week, in the last 2 weeks being ill, I think I did about 16. So it's still well below target, but each piece was an exciting piece.
Okay.
And the way that I do them is I have several on the go because watercolors you kind of need them to dry and add layers upon layers. So I actually found that this way of creating um is much more exciting because every painting is a fresh start
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
they're not all themed or anything like that. So I think um I'm not concerned about not finishing, as it were. But I think I do need to give myself that range of like between 1830 is like hey, well done. But like 1,000, actually, you can still create a decent exhibition out of that.
Yeah. Okay. How many paintings a week then? If 1,000 is bare minimum,
Mm,
how many paintings a week will get you to the bare minimum? So we
yeah,
can look at some weeks when you're out or some weeks when life happens.
yeah, yeah,
What's your bare
yeah.
minimum?
Let me look at my project plan. So, if I did 20 paintings a week, I would have 840 pieces. If I did 30 paintings a week, I would have 1,260 pieces, and 40 paintings a week will give me 1,680.
Okay. Okay.
So
So bare minimum was like 20, was it?
20, well, yeah, 20 will get me 840 pieces.
Oh,
So that would be,
so
yeah,
then it would need to be 30 as bare minimum.
30 will give me 1,260. So yeah, between 20 to 30.
But then if you want to hit 1830, it would be four,
It'd be 40 plus, 40 or
40 plus a
45.
week. Okay. So
Yeah,
really your bare minimum is like 25.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay. So let's
yeah, yeah,
let's say like between 25 and 40 paintings a week.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is that is that right? If I remember your math. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, when was the last time? Because I know the last 2 weeks. But the week before, how many paintings were you able to
The
get?
week before I did 18.
Okay.
So that wasn't too bad. And I think there'll be periods of time where I'll be doing less than that, and there'll be periods of time where I could maybe be hitting like 40, 50, 60. Like the Christmas holidays are a great one because
Right.
nobody wants anything from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
What a
so
good
it's
time.
like maximizing those times and yeah, like kind of just like going with the ebbs and flows of life.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I encourage you to keep doing it, and I also want you to hit that. Like, let me know the second you hit 25 paintings this week.
Yes. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
message
yeah.
me or um
We'll
uh
put it. I'll put a stories and tag you as we've
yes.
been doing. And for everybody who's following along, the hashtag is ABIA,
Okay.
which
Mhm.
stands for Accountability Buddies in Action, because that whole thing was just too long for a hashtag.
Yeah, right
So
there.
keep an eye on that because that's how Suzanne and I are updating each other with our tasks and our goals. And I like that. I like that, the first target to just to hit 25 for the
Mhm.
week and actually experience how that is, and
Yeah.
then be able to extrapolate what's possible from there.
Yeah, because it's a huge thing when we have a big. Well, I'll speak for me anyway. When I have a big project and can feel the rush of dopamine for achieving some small thing, which is
Yeah.
why I love this like 1,000 paintings, 1,800 paintings thing.
Yeah.
When you finish it, you can do it. Uh,
Yeah.
and for me, if I have a long, big project, I have to build my confidence that I can
Yeah.
do it.
You have
So
to have those little building blocks.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
having those proof that yes, 25 totally doable, done.
In fact,
Yeah,
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post a story every day that I do my painting, and I'll tell you how many I did that day, and then on the Wednesday tell you, yeah, I've hit 25.
great.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, yeah,
Wait, okay, ABIA. Great.
yeah,
Okay, so that's one of your tasks
yeah,
for this week. Okay. Um, Great. So, your previous day commitments, 30 to 40 pieces of painting a week, and then there was a question mark of a live stream.
yeah. So I didn't do 30 to 40. I did 16.
Mhm.
And I didn't live stream because I looked like crap. And I was like, nobody needs to see this.
Okay.
So, but and I didn't do my 30 to 45 minutes because I it was just like a lot more time of concentration that I was capable of. But I did maintain my daily 20 minutes regardless because I thought that was the bare minimum. If I can't do 30 or 45, I'm gonna do what I've set myself up as a bare minimum as always. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. I'm also gonna put like recovered from illness. I mean, you're not still like 100%,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, yeah. And I was intentional about taking care of myself. Um, yeah, like I didn't overwork. I made sure that I got plenty of sleep. I didn't, I ate really well. And so I think I think that's another thing to account for as well, is like when you've got one of those weeks where you're not very well, or you're recovering from the week before where you've expended a lot of energy. Sometimes the goal that you set yourself for that week is recovery. And sometimes recovery and doing the things that you need to do in order to recover is what you need accountability for. And so, we didn't feel well enough to go live, but in another situation. So for you guys, if you're taking on your own accountability partners, and you hit a snag, especially if you've got a long commitment, like say you're in a partnership for 6 months and you hit a snag like this, you can always like check in with each other and just say, actually, like my goal this week isn't the stuff that we said last week. My goal is to not be ill by the time that we next talk. And these are the things that I'm going to do to make sure that that happens. I'm going to make a really good stock with plenty of, minerals and bone broth, and make sure that I'm really well. I'm going to get this many hours of sleep a night, or whatever it is. So you just want to account for your whole life in this accountability adventure.
yeah, yeah. I did want to at least do a little shout out to those of you who are here with us live, DLWS92 and Mama Walrus. Hello, hello. Love that. And if anybody else is here live, go ahead and say something in the chat. Just say hello, and if you are working on anything interesting, let us know.
Mm.
Yeah, cool. Um, so, is it fair to copy and paste the previous 3 commitments and
I
just
think so, yeah.
keep it
30 to
going?
40 pieces of paint. But I think let's get specific on that because we said 25, right? So
Yeah.
shall we say minimum 25 pieces?
Yes. Okay.
And actually, I don't think I'm gonna commit to more than 20 minutes a day
Okay.
just this week because I'm getting ready for my membership launch for next week. So I'm gonna stick that 20 minutes a day. But what I do want to do is at the weekend, make sure that I put aside a chunk, like a 2 hour chunk, where I can really get into the flow of the painting.
So 2 hours, 3 hours, what are we talking
I
about?
think I think 2 hours. Set aside 2 hours for at some point over the weekend, like
Okay,
2 hours uninterrupted in flow kind of painting.
great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you see anything stopping you from all three tasks?
I mean, the only thing that I can foresee is any unexpected stuff that's happening with the membership launch. Because right now, because of the time bound nature of it, that is my priority.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and I don't want having that as a priority to mean that my creative work is in the back burner.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Do you need any help or support?
Um, I think the sending out the story to you every day, to let you know how many paintings I've done is good because that compels me to do at least my 20 minutes,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it keeps me on track as well so that I know how much I have to do when the weekend comes.
Hmm.
And if you don't hear from me over a 24-hour period, if you don't mind then sending me a little nudge, that would be very useful because it's more than possible that I'm just so consumed by
By the
the
lunch.
membership launch that I
Hmm.
just forget everything.
Nudge. Okay, so I'm gonna put that as an alarm in my um, calendar. So um, actually, maybe I should do a regular alarm. So about this time, uh,
About this time is good. It's the end of the day for me, and if I haven't done anything yet by this point, then it's a good reminder to like plan something tonight before you
okay.
go to bed.
All right. So 10 a.m. every day. I'm gonna name this um, R- Raphy. Check. I'm gonna check your stories first, and so like check
Yeah,
Raphy's stories, and if there isn't anything, then I poke you.
yeah,
Okay, fantastic. All right, that alarm has been set. And also with the help and support, you need just like a little related to your your three things framework. If the help and support you need is for your launch, um, then that actually getting that help and support actually supports your art as well.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
as a reminder to myself and others that there are there are a few things in this world that only you can do, and it's
yeah,
usually related to the art.
yeah,
For other things, there is usually somebody you can hire, borrows, like barter with, um, to help with other things in the capacity. But just looking at all of the things that only you can do and you cannot assign it to other people. Now, for people like me, sometimes I overestimate how special I am. And
yeah,
it gets hard to delegate and to let go of that
yeah,
perfectionism and
yeah.
everything.
Oh, I'm a
So,
total control freak.
yeah. Yeah, and
Total
that'll
control
be
freak.
my undoing too.
Yeah, yeah. And but actually that was one of the things that I had to do when I looked at my gigantic to-do list for the launch, having lost a week. I was like, video editing, delegate, uploading to YouTube, like unlisted delegate, doing, member press, actually contact member press support. You don't have to work this out yourself and spend hours doing it. Just give them a username and let them do the thing.
Yeah,
And because that's their literal job and it's free. and
exactly.
it's like just things like this, and it was literally like I'm telling you, like about more than half, like 60-70% of the stuff that was on there was delegatable, and if I hadn't have gotten ill I wouldn't have.
Right. Right.
So kind of a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, and that's another piece to like train ourselves as well is like if if I delegate and I have extra time, what I usually do is fill up that extra time with more things that I should delegate.
I know, I
Instead of
know.
like doing the thing that only I literally I did record vocals, and we'll get into my thing. I did record vocals this week, um, with that in mind of like of all of the things that are on my to-do list, literally I am the only person who can record my vocals.
Yeah,
Like that is it.
exactly. And that's about the only thing that can't be delegated. Like, nobody else
Your
can make my
creativity.
30 to 40 pieces of paintings,
Exactly.
but, everything else. And actually, I was at the gallery. I mean, I don't regret it because I met this great artist, but I was like, I could have asked someone to go to the gallery and measure it for me. And they would have done a much better job because I was standing there like with a tape measure. Like I don't know how this thing works and what the numbers mean. And so the very lovely artist who was called Anthony, in the gallery was like, "Do you need help? Like you have no idea what kind like."
Yeah.
Yes, I need help.
Yes. Mhm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So like to that point, like what help or support will you need? Sometimes it is the help and support with all of the other things that like literally I cannot like I do not have to do.
Mm,
That ends up helping and supporting your art, you know. So
for sure.
just putting that out there. Okay. Anything else? Any other notes or thoughts on last week
I
or
think
this?
that's good. I think that's good.
Great.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Right. All right. So I'm going to just start me on a new page. Um, so for me, the three commitments, I got the drummer and I got the bassist, and I did post the video snippets on IG stories. I did not go live, but funnily enough, I did edit the piano track and I did edit the vocals. And
Nice.
one of the reasons I do go live is not only extra engagement and kind of building excitement around this song, um, but so that I have like a time and a place to show up to actually do the work. Um, but I have found that because I had the musicians booked on my calendar and looked at my calendar and was like, oh, he actually needs vocals by X, Y, and Z, that actually made me rearrange some things and was motivation within itself to get it done.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud that I was able to do that, even without going live. And on Friday, I was just not feeling well. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Friday was a zero tech day because I was just feeling really not only just physically unwell but also mentally. I think I like
Yeah.
it feels like some weeks I just binged on just pure ones and zeros, just like digital
Yeah,
information,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
just
I mean,
needed to
having a
be.
non-tech day is in itself a goal, actually, particularly when you're needing to recover your energy. So,
Oh yeah,
no, I think you did great. You did all three things that you said you were going to do, minus the going live,
yeah.
and you looked after yourself.
Yeah. And I was even a little ahead of schedule too. I had booked my long story short, so when I go to the bassist, he gives me a couple of different versions, a couple of different takes. And from those takes, I can pick the best parts out of each performance and kind of put them into what's called a comp. We just like
Mm,
put them all together, stitch them together. So if he had something in take one that was a really cool bass riff, but something in take three that was just not quite right, I can kind of stitch things
you like
together.
kind of like mix and match the different
Yeah,
components.
yeah, exactly. Into one big comp. So
Yeah,
I had booked an audio editor to do the comping for me. Um, again, at a certain point, I want somebody else to just like do it and decide for me. Um, and I was going to do that for the bassist, but when the guitarist came in and he had different styles, and that was really more of an artistic decision rather than a technical one.
Mm,
It wasn't like oh, I really like this one because he did this really cool riff. It was like, is this the kind of riff and kind of feel that I want for the vibe of the song? And
yeah.
so some of the takes the guitarist did. Now this is the cool thing about, booking somebody who's good. Um, I had him on the calendar. I submitted my files, and he plays to the tracks that I have. That was also the day I needed to go to the urgent care.
Mm,
So I sent him a message and I said, "I'm so sorry. I can't make it to the live session, which was a Zoom session." But I said, "You know what? Just go ahead and do it anyway. Like, you've got a half an hour. I've booked a half an hour with him. Give me some takes."
mm,
So I wasn't even there in the session because I was seeing the doctor. And he came back, and a few of the tracks that he gave me four takes. And a few of the tracks were like, okay, this is good. And a few of the tracks were just not stylistically what I was looking for. It was more like classic rock lead guitar kind of solo stuff. And I'm like, nah, maybe not for this song. So the reason I was ahead of time was because I took a listen to his takes and was like, you know what, I am the artist here, and this is actually a big component of the style and the vibe. So I'm gonna go ahead and comp them. So I did that. I pieced the takes that I wanted together in the vibe that I had in my head, and that was something that really only I could direct.
mm.
Um, and it was kind of easier for me to just comp it. So that means I still had my audio editor booked. He was originally going to do the comping, but then instead he took my vocals and tuned them and fixed them up. And he's very quick, and he's so much better at it than I am. Um,
Mm.
Secret, like, um, people think that singers like have to like nail it perfectly or record everything absolutely perfectly. Um, but there is a lot of tools out there that save you a whole lot of time. That's like
Yeah,
the equivalent of like if a writer writes a novel and can like copy and paste and edit and rearrange and
yeah,
stuff like
and he's
that.
like,
So
autocorrect on like
yeah,
your.
correct, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing my vocals, I'm really focused on more emotional delivery, and if I'm out of
Mm,
tune or out of pitch or something, that can be fixed. But what can't
mm.
be fixed is like the emotional, like, am I
Yeah, sure.
really going for it? Do I have a little growl in my voice? Am
Yeah,
I
yeah,
soft and pretty? That's
yeah.
something that like I don't really want
That's
to.
also the difference between like a live experience and like listening to like a beautifully produced and mastered record. Because like, and I was in a coaching call with one of my clients who's a brilliant musician, and he's like, we're always on the line with him between the pursuit of excellence, because he really does like hold a high standard, and perfectionism.
Mhm.
And one of the things that we were talking about is like, you can there's a certain amount there's a certain amount of excellence that you want to bring to like mastering an album that you're going to have released as a record and as a CD, and etc., which is not the same kind of um polishing that you necessarily want to do when you're creating something that's designed to be clipped and posted on social media,
Yeah.
because people are going to be listening to that on like tinny crappy Samsungs,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
like, so it's like you kind of have to um be appropriate with the medium that you're using.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, exactly. So, longer story shorter, because I found the time, um, I both found it and made it. I kind of forced some
Mm.
things because I knew that I had him on my books, and to reschedule him would actually take me past the deadline. So I'm like, okay, we just have to do this. So instead of comping the instrumentals, he ended up tuning and editing my vocals plus some harmony layers that I put in. So we're actually ahead of time now, and I actually have a second session with him to do some more editing and alignment on just the full mix. So I'm really excited about that. And then I have my mixing engineer booked. So uh, I can't believe I still made progress. Even when I had to, I couldn't attend the guitar session live. And that was a big thing of like me delegating to somebody who I knew was good. And
Mm.
even though he gave me a couple of takes that were not in the style I was looking for, um, I still gave him the opportunity to contribute and just like be
Mm.
creative himself.
Yeah,
And there were
yeah,
still
yeah,
great takes in there that worked really well. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, I was really happy with. I made progress even though I like really scaled back on what I
Mm.
could do last week.
Great.
Yeah. So I recorded. Oh no, I should say like I comped guitar and recorded vocals, and I also wrote. I'm gonna put them on separate bullet points because I want all of the credit for all of the.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
I was thinking that. I was like, those are two things.
yeah. Um, wrote and recorded harmony vocal parts.
Nice.
That was a lot.
Yeah, you
Um,
did a lot, especially since you weren't that well.
I was not that well, and I think I also had to clear my schedule of all of the other things.
Mm.
Um, and so when I was starting to feel better towards the end of the week, I had just a little more breathing room.
A little extra time. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes when you have these unexpected curveballs, there really are blessings in disguise. Because, like you say, most things can be delegated, and sometimes it takes that emergency for you to actually delegate.
realize. Yeah, exactly. Um, not feeling well. Did anything block you since last check-in on health you need to get unstuck? I mean, I am gonna continue to
Mm.
see the doctor. I've got a doctor's appointment next week, and um, continue to take meds.
Yeah.
Uh, all of that. I'm also gonna just give myself a little more look at all of the things. So for this next week, um, my next appointment with an editor is Monday. Um, I could, I guess I could post a video snippet with the audio editor to IG, Little Spiral. Music.
That's a nice way of just building a little bit of hype and connecting with your audience with what you're doing, work
Yeah.
in progress as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I will get, I think we're going to be edit and align all audio to, there's just a couple places when you're working with live musicians, um, sometimes people get in the groove and maybe go a little faster or slower than each other. So we're just going to get everybody aligned to timing. Post a video snippet with the audio editor on Monday. So that's a very specific thing. And then I also need to every time I release a song to my Song of the Month Club on Patreon, I write a little essay and create some social media snippets. And by the time we meet next week, it'll be the 30th. And so the song will need to be released to my Patreon by the 1st. So I will need to write. Actually, okay. I'm going to write the essay for Patreon. And then I'll also need to do some social media for November 1st. So this is technically not my task. This is going to be my audio editor's task. So I'll just do that and keep it to that. And then the next week is really when I'm going to finalize, like the patrons will get the early version, and then I'm going to finalize the mixing, mastering, the final polish that it takes for streaming. And then by the time we last meet, because we're going to extend this for another week, it should be submitted. Like,
okay, you're right on schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I foresee anything stopping me? Well, on a personal note, I have a little extra time this week than originally planned, because it's kind of really disappointing. My sister was going to get married this weekend, and she and her groom to be came down with COVID.
Oh no, that's so. I thought, to be fair, I thought you were gonna say that they called
They
off the wedding. So
break
I was
up.
like, this is better.
This is much better. Yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to say it without people expecting that they broke up, but like no, they both came down with COVID and decided to post.
Yeah, that's super annoying because I'm sure like people have to like book time off to go to the wedding, etc. So like, yeah, that's so annoying for
Yeah,
them.
it's sad, and my sister's very upset, but like we're really just supporting her decision, and
Mm.
just we're we're kind of chipping in to help out,
Yeah,
and all
I
of that.
mean, no
So
one wants to have COVID on their wedding day, but but there's also a lot of logistics to reorganize, I suppose, like venues, catering, blah.
yeah,
Yeah,
all of the things. So we're
yeah,
yeah, so it's a bummer, but that would have been my answer if there was anything stopping me, because that is a full that is a full
a full
4
weekend.
days. Yeah.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
but I think obviously like just keeping on top of health issues,
mm,
and what help or support do I need? Um, I'm 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 trying to say I don't want to ever answer none here, even though I'm
mm,
tempted to, because of what we talked about. Like, you can delegate and get more help than you even realize.
mm,
Um, so, what help or support do I need? Well, I'll tell you what. I I think I do need more help in the logistics and minutia of um um releasing the actual track, because there's a lot of bits and bobs and things to register for, that most most people, let alone most musicians, don't even realize that you have to, like, you
mm.
need to register the song with the PRO, you need to do this for international licensing, you need to, like,
It's
just
like kind of like bureaucrat, like admin stuff,
admin, lots of
back end
admin.
admin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do need help with that. I'm trying to think of who I can bring in to help. Oh, you know what? My friend Shelly might be able to help.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Administrative support for
yes.
distribution prep.
Okay. So
Yeah.
here's how I'm gonna cleverly still keep it 3 tasks. Um, Message Shelly. I'm going to write promo copy for Patreon release November 1, because that does include the essay and the social media and the email
Okay, got
list
it. Yeah, and then message Shelley for the admin support.
for.
But the other thing that I think you may want to consider
Mhm.
is like what kind of like home space support you might need so that you can really focus on getting better. Like, I mean, I'm talking like really basic crap like dishes and laundry. And, and so because you just want to be able to have a home space that you can relax in.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, there is, I have been using this laundry service. It's kind of like a delivery laundry service.
Uber for laundry.
Yeah, yeah. What's it called? Poplin, Poplin. I really like them. I could do that. But yeah, a friend come over to help me with dishes, and I feed them tacos. That is how that
Yeah,
is
that
how
sounds good.
that would be
And,
cool.
I think a little bit of kind of, low-key socializing
Mhm,
can give you a little bit of nourishing energy as well.
mhm. Um, I do like in LA and in California in general. Like it's basically, I will feed you tacos if you. That is how we. That is how we do it.
Tacos is the currency.
Yeah, tacos is the your friend, and I will feed you tacos if you help me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Jared. You know what, Jared? Jared. I'm putting him live on the spot on live stream. Oh gosh.
Well, hey Jared, you want tacos?
Yes. What's up? Hey Jared, we're supposed to hang out anyway, so let's yeah.
Okay.
Topics. Jared question mark tacos exclamation point. Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's it. I think that's it.
That's cool. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So we have just we accounted for an hour and a half. We definitely don't need to use all of that up. If anybody is still watching live and you want to say hello, please feel free to do so. We're here and we don't bite.
Leave.
And we can just maybe set aside a little bit of time to speak about things that you have coming up. I know we touched in on them a little bit,
Yeah.
but particularly I want to hear about your accountability buddy matchmaking service, which I think you said was already live, and it's
Yes.
kind of forefront of my mind because I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about my membership, but actually what she was looking for was an accountability buddy matchmaking service, which I
Oh,
don't do, but you do.
I
So I passed
do.
on your details, and but I think everybody else who might be watching this ought to know as well.
Yes. So let me share the sign up for. Can y'all see that? Yeah. And then I'll put up a quick QR code. Buddy, uh, here. Show that, and there we are. Woo! Um, can it can it go the other side? Oi, classic.
It's
Oh,
okay. We can just
yes.
about see the
Okay,
thing.
great. So, I'm really excited to soft launch this. And I have this habit of overthinking, and then when it becomes too much, I just like way underthink and just launch the thing. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
so
I really get that as well.
I
I have
had
that
I had
too.
this elaborate plan of like doing some like matchmaking kind of things, activities, steps, all these things, and I'm like, you know what? I could actually just launch a Google form. The
Yeah.
end. And just do it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I ended up doing that, and it's basically I've got the QR code. It is tradition on this live stream that I eat it. So hold on, wait, I have to rearrange my. There we go. Sure.
Yeah, that's become a thing
Yeah.
somehow.
Yes. Yes. Um, but anyway, so that is the QR code where you can sign up to be in the Creative Spirals directory. Where currently, if you sign up, you'll get kind of immediate access to everybody's listing. But then I will be coming in this week and pairing people up and saying, according to what you said, I think you two would be great, and I'll send out individual emails to the both of you. So it's this week and into next, to get your name on the Spirals Creative Spirals directory. And it's just, like we're gonna ask you some different questions. Best way to contact you, I don't encourage putting your personal phone number on there, but an email, Instagram, things like that. And then we'll have different creative categories. Describe what help you need, and would you like to be paired once a month, once a week? Would you need several times a week? Or are you not sure? So, pretty quick form to fill out. Um, but that is, I've soft launched it and haven't quite done the full promotion yet. So you're amongst the first to know that this is live and ready for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're watching this on replay or watching this live and you've been keeping up and you're thinking, yeah, I really could do with an accountability buddy,
Yes.
and you just don't know exactly where to look for them, because one of the things that we covered in the first episode is that friends, family members, partners are not always the best accountability buddies, because you
Mhm.
need somebody with a certain level of objectivity and distance from you, that they're gonna care a lot more about you showing up for the commitments that you've made than they care about you being fine and comfortable.
Right.
And all still coming from a place of compassion and having grace where it's required. But fundamentally, they're not like, the kind of friend that you'll take to the pub and have a rant about how awful it all is. They're
Mhm.
fundamentally there to support you in doing the things that you said you're going to do.
Right.
So, um, if you are in the market for a buddy, I highly recommend getting in on this, because these are people as well who have a similar commitment and have a similar um, intention.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So, if you hit up this QR code. I'll have this live until the end of our 6 week adventure, which will be November 6th, I think, is
Hmm.
our last live stream. Um,
Hmm.
and then it'll be put into the Accountability Buddy bundle, which will be available for $9 after that. So if you want it for free, please sign up. You're going to sign up at this QR code if you're not already. That's our Eventbrite. And sign up there. You'll have the Accountability Buddy bundle for free. And I'll make sure that Raphy's got the new link for the buddy pairing sign up form so that we can get that out to you. But after that, it'll just be a little $9 package.
Yeah. It's definitely worth $9 regardless. But hey, if you're into this and you can get it for free, like, just take the action and do it.
Yeah,
Get in on that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly,
So,
exactly. So
um,
that's what I'm up to. Rafi, well, what are you up to?
yeah. Well, I mean, I've been talking about my membership endlessly for the last few months, and I will continue to talk about it, because we are launching on the third, for the founding members, we're launching on the 30th of October, which is a week exactly from today. And so, to just give you a little bit of background on the membership and what you who it's for and what you're going to get, I think, for a lot of you, if you're watching this, it's likely that you're a creative, and it's likely that you have a strong commitment to making sure that your creative work stays in the front burner rather than the back burner, as Suzanne said earlier. And so this community is really designed for you to maintain that commitment and for you to have a community of people around you who will breathe fire to your creative goals and to your creative commitments, because no human being is designed to function alone.
Yes.
And whether you are somebody who just want to create regular time for your practice, like showing up daily and having this um, your creative work as a regular feature of your life without necessarily wanting to turn it into a business, then this is for you. If you are somebody who wants to turn this into a business and you want to transition from your full-time job and start making your creative work your main income, you're essentially on your way to entrepreneurship and being a business owner, and this is also for you. If you are an artist who is already established with a big audience and you're making money and you're making a living out of your art, but you're tired of sitting alone in your garage studio all day, every day, and you want a community of people who share your values and your vision in your back pockets, then this is also for you. And in this membership, you will get a community hub, which we're going to have on WhatsApp. So you will literally have this community in your back pocket. And that's the place where you can hang out, have conversations, make collaborations, and make those deep connections that you won't necessarily get to do in a free Facebook group. You will also have access to multiple times a week co-create sessions, which are dedicated windows of time where you show up and you will be led by somebody like me or somebody like Suzanne on a short embodiment meditation, goal setting and intention setting, and a check-in at the end. And you have this uninterrupted period that you've carved out specifically for your creative work, and you get to co-work with other people virtually as well. In addition to that, there will also be a monthly coaching session that I will run in the group where you can bring to me anything that you need to. Maybe you're struggling with imposter syndrome, you're struggling with procrastination, you're struggling with self sabotage, you're struggling with your confidence. Then I am here to support you and really help you work through those internal barriers or practical strategic barriers as well. And, maybe it comes to do with your messaging, your branding, or your marketing. And with those are three things, right? So there's a couple more things. Um, you will get member discount, because what's a membership without those? And you'll get to offer your things to other people as well. And we will have monthly guest experts from the likes of people who will show you how to design a one-page portfolio in 3 hours live. That's booked in the calendar. I've got somebody who's coming in um, to teach meditative drawing. I've got somebody who's a social media specialist coming to talk to you guys. I've got all sorts of people who are really just here to support you in all the aspects of having a creative life, from the mindset stuff to the practical strategic stuff to the business stuff and the health and well-being stuff as well. So there's a lot in there, and as a founding member, you get to have this for only £37 a month, which is about, I think it's about $45, and something like that. And that's a killer price, because in 2025, when we do the public launch, that's going to go up to 97. So, and then 6 months after that, it's going to go up again, because that's how these things go. So if you're interested in this, now's the time. Spaces are actually limited for the founding members to only 15. So that's the end of that spiel. I think it's a great deal myself.
Yeah, that's amazing. Go to sign up for the wait list because it launches tomorrow, and I did take a look. It's about 47, 48 US dollars.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's about right.
Would I think there's some fluctuations depending on what the governments are doing that day.
Yeah.
So, completely out of my control, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Well, awesome. Anything else that you want to say about about either the membership or about just anything in general.
No, I think I'm so grateful to have this partnership, to be honest, because if, like, honestly, I'm quite a good self-starter, and like, I coach people, so I know all the stuff. But if I weren't in this partnership, I would still be thinking about booking the gallery.
Yes.
Never mind calculating what the walls look like and how many pieces I need to make to create it. And so there's really something very powerful and very simple in having an accountability buddy.
Hmm.
So that's just a little something to share for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, same. I mean, I I do get, especially with my project, releasing it out to streaming without it being perfectly perfect, is making me very nervous. But once I speak it out loud and get the structure and the support that I need in getting this song out, I've had it floating around for about 3 years now, and every time Thanksgiving rolls around, I'm like, I should really release it. I should really release it. And then I released it to Patreon, and they were like, "Is it on Spotify? Because I have a Spotify playlist for Thanksgiving." Like, fine. So I'm really appreciative that you and I have been able to do this and kind of walk the walk and not just talk the talk. Because yeah, it's ironic, and I recognize this, but like the work that I do with Creative Spirals and getting the creative community together to make them put the art on the front burner and not the back burner has made me put my art on the back burner. And
That's right.
it's such it's such a human condition, though, that I
Yeah, yeah,
know
yeah.
that it helps to just have another person. Like, the real answer is like community collaboration, like really
Mm,
reaching outside of my own bubble to get support. Like you said, like, we are not built to just work alone and be alone. We really do need each other. So really, thank you so much for even like being game to do this.
mm. I
Genuinely.
remember when I came up with this idea. I think I was in the car on my way on my way to our holiday place in the summer, and I was like, "Oh yeah, accountability buddies." Just thinking about my membership as you do in the car, all day, every day. And you're like, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, Suzanne." And then I just sent you a message, and I was like, "How about we do this?" And I think just from that, the random communication, the whole thing got created within like a week. So I'm
Yeah.
really, yeah, like really appreciative of just how game you are for, kind of a mad idea that that came like out of
Yes.
nowhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, and I do want to give a shout out. I have my Instagram open in a different tab and didn't get to some of the comments there, but DLWS92. I think that
I think
is
that's Debbie.
Debbie. Yeah, that's Debbie.
Yeah.
Hi from Seattle, and thanks for walking us through your process. I've been surprised at how much time you spent thinking slash discussing. I'm not spent time thinking through my plans to be impactful or realistic. Well, I will say, at least for me, the reason I'm thinking and discussing a lot is because I'm on live stream. Real talk.
Yeah.
And because I think both of us are kind of trying to showcase our process and our thinking for others to say, oh, that's what's going on. Oh, okay. And just to show an audience like what we can bring to your project if you decide to work with us or join our communities or sign up for whatever it is. It's really more to showcase internal stuff. Usually my internal stuff stays internal.
Mm,
But I also think that it's a good thing to occasionally really just dig deeper into some of the process about it. Um, just to see, like, just to see how it is for yourself. But
Yeah.
for the most part, like the accountability buddy worksheet, I could do that with a accountability partner in like 15 minutes if I, if you
Yeah.
want. Like it
Exactly.
really is just okay. What did you do? Okay, great. Anywhere you're
Yeah.
stuck?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but
we're bringing
we
you guys into our thinking so that you're not lost on the live stream. But also, I think there's something in what you're saying, Debbie, about that kind of like thinking and planning and discussing. Because like I actually wouldn't have thought about doing a project plan until Suzanne said that she wanted to do one. Ironically, um,
and I still haven't
um,
done one, but you did one.
and but if I hadn't have done that, I would just be sitting here feeling anxious about how many paintings I'm supposed to be freaking making. And so there's something about bringing in that structure, and I think that's one of the um beauty of talking things out loud, because you get to really like test drive the clarity and orderliness of your thinking. And without that clarity and without that structure, all you've got left, all I've got left is my emotions, which, as far as I respect them and I want to have a relationship with them, they're not, you shouldn't make decisions based on them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we all kind of
So,
do in one way or another, but that shouldn't be the only.
yeah,
the-
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So,
And then
um,
Debbie says, I don't do it internally either. So there's that. So like processing it internally. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm with you, Debbie. I also wouldn't be thinking if I weren't having to talk and pretend to be a functional human being on live stream.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Or with with when you're working with a coach or when you're working with
Yeah.
somebody else, even if the only benefit is like you get to talk things out loud and actually like think through all the steps, that's still a really amazing. This is why we need each other. We really need to.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not
Uh,
designed to function alone.
yeah,
Not at
absolutely.
all.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, wonderful.
So, is there
Okay.
anybody else? Because we're streaming on literally 5 different channels. Because we have Suzanne's Instagram, my Instagram, Suzanne's Facebook, and my Facebook, and also Suzanne's YouTube. So, yeah, if you're around somewhere, please shout. And
Even on the
yeah,
replay, say hi in the comments. That'd be good.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And feel free to tell us about your projects and what kind of things you need help with, because again, it's that verbal processing actually really does help.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, I think that does it unless there's anything else. And so next week will be the Halloween Eve for those who.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
And then the week after will be in America. It'll be post-election, probably nightmare, but we'll figure it out.
We'll see. We'll see.
It will likely. I have a strong feeling we will likely not know the results of the election by
Yeah.
the time we live stream, but and I would like to not really dig into it for the purpose of this live stream.
No, no,
But
no, of
but
course.
if it is something that's like, okay, like, if I'm gonna name a stumbling block and and it's something like
Something
I'll
like,
probably name that. That'll be the extent of it.
yeah, 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 yeah. I
All right.
mean, American politics is like one of the best entertainment I've ever come across in my entire life.
Glad to entertain you. Just so happy.
Like
It
you though, like I can't really speak. It's like the UK has gone insane.
I was just saying, like, I've seen some clips from that House of Parliament of yours, and they're very, like, at least there's, like, the entire room gets into action when somebody says something poignant, and everybody's like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, 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 for sure. And I grew up in the Philippines, so Filipino politics is like those two things combined on steroids
Oh
slash
god.
mushrooms.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Yeah.
so so anyway, this is so we're just gonna do our creative thing because we want to stay sane.
We want to stay sane. We want to bring other people into a bubble of sanity
Yeah,
in some ways and share our art, and that is how we process the world.
that's right.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay,
Wonderful.
well, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you, Debbie, for your questions. And anybody else who's watching on replay, please say hello, and we will see you next week.
Bye.